All right, I'm ready. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? I'm ready. It's Saturday morning, the second weekend of November. Y'all, the year is almost up. I mean, like the year is almost at an end, right? Oh my God. I'm so excited about um, this season and just what it entails for us all. So, um, oh, I've missed you guys. I took a week off. I took a week off, which is extremely important for our well being, right? Sometimes you need a vacation. Sometimes you just got to sit, pause, and think about some things, right? And that's something that I had to do. It was time for a vacation. So I took a little vacay. I took a trip at the beginning of October for my birthday. And that was not a vacation. That was just a whole trip, y'all. I was like going nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. But I took a short trip to North Carolina, this past weekend. And I actually got to meet a couple of streamers while I was there. So I was excited about that and just being able to be at peace and, just a little a little solitude. Now, this morning, we are doing a show of gratitude. Sometimes in this season, it's hard to um, look at the differences of gratitude and challenges and what this season just has to hold. It's cold. The weather starts to change. The leaves start to fall, and then people want to start gathering together. I'm like, man, do you have the energy for it? Who is excited about this season? I'm excited, even if I don't want to be all the time. I'm excited. So, I have my friend I'm gonna call him my friend. I hope he all right with being my friend today. But Men of Steel is here today. Men of Steel is here today. And he's gonna chat with us and me with him and he with me all about this season of gratitude, right? Is that what we talking about today, Men of Steel?
That's what we're talking about. I had to put the same thing on as the flyer so people know it's me.
Yeah, you would be hard to recognize if you didn't have on the same as the flyer.
Thank you, Sherry. Good morning,
uh,
everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Man, it's still. Go ahead and tell everybody what you got going on. Um, who you are. Well, I just said your name, but yeah, who you are and what you got going on.
Yeah. Um, I just started streaming again. I got off streaming for a good little while, but I've been back for about a week now. The terrorized tag, so I'm back. I've been back for about a week. Most of y'all already know I got a multitude of businesses, X, Y, and Z. Co-host the morning show with Beautiful J and CD on Monday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So, that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? I'm just back to shake things up.
Hey, we shaking things up. We shaking things up. So, let's see where we are. I definitely want to talk about what this season means to us. And not just me, but, just nationally, personally, what this season may mean for us and why I want to emphasize it being a season of gratitude. Um, it can be hard getting through, especially like Thanksgiving, Christmas, those type of things, if we celebrate those holidays when we have had different adversity and challenges throughout our lives. But what do you say, Minister, that gratitude means to you?
Well, what I do realize that lack of gratitude is the biggest blocker of blessings. And a lot of time People don't know even understand how, incredibly important gratitude is, because, all the things that you pray for, or your vision boards and everything else, if you can't handle what you already have, it's going to be very hard to get to the finish line, because all the things you have now is to get you there. So if you can't handle this, it's going to be really hard for you to be blessed with what your actual ultimate goal is. So being
Mm,
appreciative of what you have now is very important, because if you require to have more, then if you appreciate making 40,000 a year, you'll definitely appreciate making 4 million. So you
mm,
actually have to be very grateful for what you already have, because there's plenty of people in the world that wish they had what you had.
mm.
So you definitely have to be grateful.
I like that. Being grateful for the small things. Um, Sometimes I've seen, and I'm sure I've done it too. I'm not going to say that I'm some era of perfection or something, but you get like in that humdrum when someone says, "Oh, here's $1," when you needed 50. You know, and I know that I've heard you say that here in within the last week or so. It's
Mhm.
like being grateful for the small things. What does that look like? You know, how does that feel to like even the giver of things? Saying, "Hey, this is what I have." I went into a situation the other day, and an individual was asking me for some spare change, and I don't be having a lot of cash, and I said, "I don't have cash, but I can get you something from the gas station." And they was like, "No, I don't want that," you know. But
Well,
what do you think? Why do you think that people don't really express gratitude in small things?
because I think most people don't appreciate the journey, so they don't appreciate the destination typically. You got to be able to embrace the journey. The journey is where you learn all the lessons so you can maintain when you get to your destination. And a lot of times, the
Hmm.
journey is where all the heartache is. The journey is where the failures are. The journey is when you might have to take a step back. You know what I mean? Like the hardest thing for people to do is to start over. You might get to two-thirds of the
Mm,
mountain or whatever, but in order for you to get to the last third, you got to go back down and take another route. Most people
mm,
don't want to do that. So the journey has to be embraced. It has to, because if it doesn't, you're not going to stay consistent. You're not going to be able to be focused, and you're not going to be able to be disciplined. So you definitely
yeah,
have to embrace the journey, learn the lessons as you go. That's the most important part. That's the most important part. You can't be afraid to fail, and you have to appreciate every lesson that you're getting, good, bad, or indifferent. You have to. That's the only way that you can grow. I've never, everything starts small and grow large. A tree was a seed. You don't just
mm,
show up with a house, it starts with a brick. So everything starts small and grow large. And a lot of times, most people are more fans of the microwave than the oven. They don't want to slow cook it. They want it to
yeah,
happen tomorrow, like right away. And that's typically not how things happen. Anything is too fast is no good. It's no good. You know what I mean? You have to let it slow cook a lot of times. So, for me, the thing I'm most grateful for is my daughters. Being a father every day, especially the girls. That's what I'm most thankful for. Every day I wake up is to another day I can be a father. It's another day for me to take a step forward. It's another day to write something. It's another day to get it right. You know what I
mm,
mean? So, I thank God, I thank the universe for all the things that don't go right, because it's a positive in everything. Even if the outcome is negative, it's always a positive you can find in there. So you have to be able to embrace the journey. That's the biggest thing, especially for a man, because men, we don't make excuses, we make adjustments. That's just how it
mm,
goes. You know what I mean? Sometimes your skill on being predicated as, how you are as a man is being able to accomplish things and get things done. So you definitely have to be grateful for the journey, especially if you're a man, because excuses is not accepted from us. We have to make sure things get done. You can't say, "Well, Daddy, this I need protection. This guy threatened me." You like, "Well, I worked a double shift last night, so
Wow. Right.
nah, you gotta handle it." You know what I mean? So
Hmm. Hmm.
we don't make excuses. We got to make adjustments. So be
I like
grateful
that.
and embrace the journey.
Awesome. I like that. Good morning, y'all. Happy Saturday. I'm Divine, and you have tapped into Divine Living. Divine Living is a personal growth and wellness show where we talk about being well. And typically, those are through the 8 dimensions of wellness. Now, if you're new to all of this and haven't heard of what the 8 dimensions of wellness are, I'll run them back to you. So they're emotional, physical, occupational, social, spiritual, intellectual, environmental, and financial. Those are the 8 dimensions of wellness. Um, and in the 8 dimensions of wellness, I like to talk about it through wellness through the 8 dimensions of wellness because sometimes when we talk about being well as a whole, it can be extremely overwhelming. So breaking down wellness in these dimensions or segments helps us divide and conquer, I would say. So today and this month, we are talking about gratitude and what gratitude means to us is one of the things that we're talking about today. Now, I wanted to kind of dive into um, what how gratitude affects the dimensions of wellness, man, is still. So, of course, you can pick one or the other, but most of the shows that I do primarily hit on emotional wellness. So, we can start there.
Okay.
How does gratitude affect our emotional well being? Um,
Well, I think that,
how would you say it does?
I would say being selfless. See, because it's hard to go through this world. You can go through the world without almost everything except a friend. You know, to not have at least one friend, that's a
Mm-hmm.
really hard life to have. To not have at least
Mm,
one friend, you know what I mean, that you can confide in, that you can talk to, this,
mm-hmm.
that, or whatever. You might not always be close with family. You know what I mean? Some people, they love their kids, but their kids drive them crazy. They see them on holidays most of the time, unless they got grandkids. But to
Right.
not have a friend, that's a very hard life to live. But to be selfless, to understand that we all here to serve each other. You know what I mean? You don't give grace, you owe grace. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Because even if you look at God, how many times He keep forgiving you, which would tell you that your relationship with Him is more important than His rules. So we actually owe each other grace. So when you're talking
mm-hmm.
about being social, it's about being selfless. It's about doing for others. And you're genuinely doing it for them. It has nothing to do with anything for you in return. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So you're not holding the door from someone so you can, get something on the back end. You know what I mean? So that's what I think it is as far as being social. Being grateful for the people that's there for you. Because everybody in here know you can go from family, friends, or to your stream. Finding people that's genuinely want to see you win is far in between. It's
Yeah.
far in between. Some people might show up to your live just so they can be seen, just so they can
Right.
get favorites. Looking for your
Right.
top gifters. They're not there to love you and support you. They're not there to see you win. They're there to see
Mm-hmm.
what can they get from it. And it's the same way with family and friends. Sometimes they only call you when they need money,
Mm,
only when they have an issue and dump all their baggage on you and then affect your energy. So being grateful for the people that want to see you win, that make themselves available, make themselves emotionally available, that's big because that doesn't grow on trees. It's a lot of people that
mm-hmm.
that just only in things for what they can get from it. That's it. They don't even help you unless it helps themselves.
Wow.
So definitely got to be careful with that. So when you talk about gratitude as it pertains to being social, it's one of the biggest things, man. Is to be
Yeah.
selfless and to appreciate the people that appreciate you.
Yeah. Definitely. Making sure that you show not just gratitude, like I was reading, and what I found in gratitude is the value of a gift, like something that's unexpected,
Right.
or and I'm not saying like a surprise unexpected, but not something that it's like I owe you this, man, is still, so I'm giving you this.
Right.
But gratitude to me is like that. You didn't have to do that for me. You
Hmm.
don't have to be here today. So I'm like extremely grateful for that. You know what I mean? Like it puts a different type of joy in you, like something that goes beyond just a happiness, but it is happiness as well.
Yeah, a gift can only be validated by the receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't even matter what you give. If the person that's receiving don't validate it, it seems like it means nothing. You can buy them a Bentley, and they go, "Oh, that's
Mm-hmm.
nice, but I wish it was another color." That'll take the sales right out your win.
Right.
So it can only be validated by the receiver, them showing
Mm.
appreciation for it. It doesn't matter what you give them. You can buy them a jet. If they
Mm-hmm.
just like, well, I saw the new 2023, you got me a 2018. Like, what's this? It's a jet. You spend $100 million, but it feel
Right.
like you did nothing. So you got to be careful with those people too. It's too many people swapping
Mm-hmm.
energy that don't match. The energy doesn't match. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Most people only think of energy based on them receiving it and what they hear in their ears, and not what they give and what they say out their mouth. They only
Right.
see themselves as the reciprocal as it pertains to energy. And they don't realize the energy they give out, they're creating their actual reality. Energy doesn't dissipate, it transfers. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell y'all all the time, serial killers don't win the lottery. You can't go and give out all this energy and then wonder what's going on. I said,
Mm-hmm.
because even though you may say the right thing, your body language is terrible. Even though you say the
Mm-hmm.
right thing, your mind is cluttered. Even though you say the
Mm-hmm.
right thing, your spirit ain't right. So you can
Mm-hmm.
say all you want, but everything else about you breeds negativity.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't fool the universe and you can't fool God. So,
Mm-hmm.
when you get to doing all that talking and in your mind you miserable, in your mind you sad, that negates everything that you said because the proof is in the actions, not in the words. The
Yeah,
actions are supposed to reinforce the words, not the other way around.
definitely. So I was also looking into like just the how gratitude affects our emotional well-being. And I feel like when we are grateful um, to each other, grateful for the things that we have, that it decreases our stress levels. It increases our or enhances our moods. What do you think? Do you think that gratitude actually does that for you or for people you've been around? What do you see in that part?
Absolutely. And especially depending on who it's coming from. All y'all
Mm-hmm.
know I work like ridiculous all the time. I sleep maybe 3, 4 hours a day. I work ridiculous running businesses and everything else. You know what I mean? When my daughters text me certain things, even when my daughters challenge me on certain things, you know what I mean? It makes me feel grateful. You know what I mean? Like, Daddy, thank you for this and thank you for that. Because the ultimate goal and the thing you ultimately want to feel as a parent, especially a father, is for your kids to say they're proud that you're their father. They got something to
Mm-hmm.
brag about. You know what I mean? Because my daughters, they'll keep things in line. Like I might do something that I tell them really not to do, and I can't remember what it was. This was a few months ago, and I was like, That don't worry about this because my daughters are teenagers. I'm like, don't worry about it. That's daddy business. And the very next thing they said was, but don't you always tell us that you're supposed to be setting an example for us?
Mm,
What type of
wow.
example are you setting for us if you're gonna do it anyway? I was like,
Mm.
you little dirty little, you know what I mean? Like they just always, but they keep teaching me how to be a better man, not just the
Mhm.
father. Like the quotes that I send you guys. All the people that I send quotes to pretty much every day. You know, I do it for the mere fact of some people have nobody in their corner. Most of the people I send quotes to, they don't respond, or I've never had a phone conversation with them. But just the mere fact that somebody thought of them that day may help them get through the day. Because
Mhm.
some people don't have no family, some people have really no friends, they're recluse. They're aloof from everybody. You know what I mean? So the mere fact they see a text from me pop up and it's a quote, it might help them get through that day. It might, reflect something that happened 2 days ago. I don't need nothing in return, but we all on this planet together. We got to find a way to coexist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I to be grateful and for somebody to show you appreciation, that's one of the biggest things in the world because you'll run through a wall depending on who that person is. Because we all want to feel appreciated. We all want to know that our efforts is for something. So that's why I said the receiver can only validate what you do for them. You can't validate it yourself. It's only based on the person that's receiving it.
Minister, I wanted to talk a little bit about and we're touching right now, everybody, on how gratitude affects the 8 dimensions of wellness. So, thank you, everyone, for tuning in and um, joining us today as we talk about this month of gratitude. Each week, we will touch a little different on gratitude and the effects of gratitude in other subject matters. Just giving a little overview. So today, Minister, I wanted to talk about you. You said at the beginning of your last response about your different businesses and careers. So when we're speaking of gratitude and occupational wellness, sometimes some of us aren't so happy about our employment or our careers,
Mhm.
or how we bring money in, per se. How do you think that gratitude affects that portion of our life? Oh, and before you start, I do want to say
Mhm.
Happy Veterans Day. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
service. Yes.
Thank you. And happy Veterans Day to all my fellow veterans as well that's in here. And family members of veterans, especially wives and kids, because they go through certain things too while we're doing what we're doing. So it's a little struggle on them as well. But happy Veterans Day to all my federal veterans or whatever. I'm an Army veteran. But as far as occupational, typically people are the happiest is the people that feel they have a purpose in life and they enjoy what they do for a living as it pertains to making money to provide for themselves and their family. So typically occupation is very important as it pertains to happiness. But for me, I don't expect to always have amazing days. So y'all know me, I'm goal oriented. So I only focus on the mission and I focus on the goal. That's it. Everything that prevents that is white noise to me. What's my goal? What's my mission? I need to get that accomplished. Anything that's getting in that way, it got to be removed out the way. So sometimes you don't have to be in love technically with what you do, but you got to feel as though that it's a purpose and it provides a purpose for you. Because you might look and say, "This is not the career I thought I was going to have," but then you see, you know, the aftermath of it. How many people that you may help? You know what I mean? Thank you, everybody. How many people that you may help? What doors that it may open for you being in that field. So I don't necessarily have to be in love with what I do, but when I know the money that I make puts a smile on my daughter's faces when I'm doing things for them. My mother being proud, of her only son and her oldest child, then that can give me gratitude and grace. See, sometimes you don't have to
Mm-hmm.
love things, you just can't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just can't
Mm.
hate it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
somebody come into your life, you might not need them to make you happy. You just don't want to make you have them make you sad. You might not really necessarily need them to add so much to your life. You just don't need them to take nothing away from it. So I for occupation, it's good if you can pick something that you're passionate about. It's good that you can pick something that you really wanted to do all your life. But I tell you this, you'll be a whole lot happier if you're doing an occupation that can pay your bills and you ain't living under a bridge. You know what I mean? You can
Right.
find some happiness in that when your stomach not growling.
Right.
So be grateful for the position that you're in because whatever job you're working, it's somebody that got a master's degree that's dying to have a job. And they'll take yours in a heartbeat, even if it's a 400,000 or a 400% decrease from what they used to making. It's
Mm-hmm.
always somebody that's in a worse position. That's why I can stay grateful. Always. I don't care what situation you in. You could be homeless, but you can also be homeless and disabled. You can also be homeless, disabled with kids. You can also be somewhere
Yeah.
where there's no sun. It could be somewhere that's always cold. They got a rainy
Ooh.
season. It can always be worse. So
Yeah.
I'll always stay grateful for what I have.
I was oh, there are so many different things that you touched on right now that I wanted uh just hit on. So, how do you feel when we talk about gratitude and motivation? Do you think that those come hand in hand with each other if we have to be motivated, especially when we're talking about occupational wellness?
Mhm.
Um, does gratitude and motivation play a part in finding this purpose in our occupational wellness?
It could be because
Hmm.
if let's say you talk about occupation, for one, let's say you're in charge or you hold a leadership position. You can only be a leader based on people willing to follow you. Your title don't
Hmm.
make you a leader. People willing to follow you make you the leader. Those are two different things. You can have a position in the hierarchy that can be up in the top of the company, but nobody respects you, nobody wants to follow you. They just have to listen to your direction because of your position. But you're only a leader unless people are willing to follow you. But to be grateful for the people that work for you, to do things for them. See, gratitude is only about just appreciating people and appreciating things regardless of which dimension it is. It's just being appreciative, just
Yes.
realizing that no matter what, it can be worse. You know what I mean? Like I always tell people, stop complaining about what you have to do every day. Stop complaining about waking up because one day God gonna say, if you got such a big problem with it, you want tomorrow.
Mm,
You don't want to keep saying that until He actually start listening and say, okay,
mm,
this is that big of a deal to you that you got to get up and go to this job when there's people that's been hungry for 3 days. This is a
hmm,
bigger problem for you. Okay, no problem. Let me go ahead and take all that away
hmm.
from you. Because it's a lot of
Yeah.
people that's not alive today. They went to sleep last night and then wake up today.
Hmm.
And we got to start waiting until the last minute to actually start being grateful and show gratitude. So be grateful for the position that you do have. You know what I mean? You
Yes.
might not be able to get a steak dinner, but you ain't gonna go hungry.
Yes.
But the
Ah.
beauty of it is you can always work towards that steak.
Hmm. In the current position that I work in, I work with a lot of people with disabilities. Some of elderly, some of them not. And I a resident came by my office the other day, and like most of the people there are elderly. So I'm thinking that this woman's going to be whatever, but come to find out, she was just a year older than me,
Okay.
and she talked about being a chef. She talked about how she used to work in the nursing field, but she really just loved being a chef. And she had an unexpected illness that had taken over her ability to walk. Um, and she was in a wheelchair for a long time, was in a nursing home, was in hospice, then a nursing home, and now she's in this place where I work now. And it got me to a point where I had to be like, girl, as much as you complain about the small things, this woman's not, she's not old. She's not old. And she came in to encourage me. That's what was so awesome about all of this too, because she even was like, girl, I've had it and I've been without, but still amongst it all, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I can even come down here pushing my walker to come in and motivate you to your next level. So that gave me like, whew, I mean, it did something to me. Like, I know that there's so many times that I can complain about what my occupation is. I don't really complain so much about it, but there are days where I'm like, oh, I got to do something different. And if you do have to do something different, you do, because you have to find purpose in what you do. But
Right.
it got me to a place where I don't need to complain, because that complaining does what? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, growth is still growth. Baby steps are still steps. You can't always
Hmm.
skip a step. You can't take this. You can't take the elevator. You can't take the escalator. Baby steps are still
Hmm.
steps. The important thing is progress. Just progressing forward. And sometimes progressing forward is actually moving backwards. So
Hmm.
you have a relationship that's terrible for the last 8 years. You want another 8 years? You
Hmm.
know, you know what I mean? Like sometimes we got to understand that things not coming to our lives because it's too cluttered. You want a better
Yeah.
relationship, but you won't get rid of the relationship you have. There's no room for that person.
Right.
So you have
Woo!
to actually clear space for the things that you're looking for.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of
Uh-huh.
times people don't want to do that because they got nostalgia and then they're afraid to either be alone or they're afraid to start over and try something different. But where's the thing that you're looking for? Where is it going to fit? There's no room for it.
Hmm.
Where is it going to go?
That's
Where
right.
are you going to put it? And the
Hmm.
longer you deal with what you're dealing with, the more damaged you are. So all you end up doing is damaging yourself further and damaging someone else. That's no different in social and being in a relationship. If you meet a woman
Hmm.
or a guy and they're exactly what you want, but you're not ready to receive it, all you're going to do is destroy you and them. You have to let them pass until you're ready. That's just the
Wow.
bottom line. You can't say, well, I'm out of shape, but I'm going to go run this marathon. Your body not ready. So
It's
if you're meeting a woman
impossible.
or a guy that fits exactly what you're looking for, you have to pass them up until you're ready to receive it,
Mm, so
which is
true.
hard
I
for a lot
like
of people
that.
to do.
It makes so much sense though. But I don't think that we even look at it at all. Sometimes
Mhm.
I had to say this saying, we want what we want till we get what we want
Oh
and
yeah,
realize it, like, was that what we really desire? But
yeah,
you
yeah.
you have to know, you gotta be in you in order to accept the things that are for you.
Right,
You know,
right,
you have to
right.
you have
Absolutely.
to understand you. Sometimes that may look like loneliness.
Thank you.
Um, but I like the word solitude. I like the word solitude because
Yeah,
in solitude, there's so many things that we can learn about ourselves, um, and not be so stuck on, oh, I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone. But what are you doing in that time? What are you doing in that time? It's I feel like it's a good time to understand yourself and be grateful for who you are, what you have, and even where you desire to be. You know,
right.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
all
It doesn't
perspective
have to
on
be
it too.
lonely.
It can be regrouping. It don't have to be I'm lonely. It
Hmm.
can just be regrouping. It can be self care and self love. See,
Hmm.
in today's world, most people are narcissists. They don't think they need any improvement. They think the world is supposed to adjust around them. They're
Mm.
like, no matter what I do, I'm coming pretty much to be accepted no matter what. Because those
Hmm.
same people that say, take me how I am, and then say, God ain't through me yet. Okay, well, when you accept you, I'll accept you.
Right.
Because if you can
Right.
acknowledge that he's not through with you yet, don't tell me I need to accept you the way you come in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because even when we go to the social thing, you don't owe nobody a second chance to get it right. You can say you got to
Mm-hmm.
get it right the first time, especially when you get to a certain age. You got family, you grew your status to a certain level as it pertains to money, career, whatever else. You don't owe a second chance. You can be like, you got
Mm-hmm.
to get it right the first time, because I believe in your 40s you should have a foundation already together, whether that's
Mm-hmm.
finances, whether that's personality, whether that's maturity and responsibility, whatever that is. I can say you have to have that when I meet you. I don't have to do the Mr. Potato Head and say, well, you look like you got potential. Okay, well, I had potential too, but now I'm living up to that. So I need somebody that's
Mm-hmm.
going to be living up to that as well. I don't have to meet you at step two. If I'm at step six, I can say you can't be no less than five. Everybody's not going to,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to be everybody's gig. Some women going to like tall men, short men, dark skin, light skin. Same thing with women. You might like bigger women, skinny women, short women, long hair, short hair, whatever. Everybody's not
Mm-hmm.
going to dig you. But why would you want to try to force somebody to like you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just move on. It's okay. It's over 8
Right.
billion people on the planet. It's okay. Like,
Mm-hmm.
bye. And go
Right.
on about your business.
Right.
That's just me.
Right. Yeah. That's what's up. So in all of this, we've kind of let me say first, thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you coming out and hanging out with me and my friend. I'm calling him my friend today. Man of Steel. Hopefully he's okay with me being my friend today. Man of Steel. And just talking about what this month is all about for Divine Living. So this month you will definitely look forward to expecting some more about gratitude, but we're going to focus some more. We're going to focus some more within the next weeks too on gratitude, specifically in other groups. I'm excited about next week, y'all. Y'all gonna have to catch my Instagram for that. So look forward to what next week has entail, as well as the week after. I'm excited. November is going to be an exciting month, but y'all won't get the previews if you don't check out my IG. My IG is the same as my name here. And if you ever want to catch a past episode of Divine Living, y'all, I'm on YouTube. It ain't the prettiest thing, but most of my episodes are on YouTube. You can catch the replays on YouTube. So check out my YouTube. It's also in my bio here. So yeah, yeah. My last show was talking about shadow work, and I just posted it. I'm a little slow sometimes on posting, but y'all can definitely check it out. I'm gonna do better on posting onto my YouTube, but check it out. Divine Living is the YouTube, and Miss Divine and Divine Living are my Instagram. I post all about the show on the Divine Living and Miss Divine, both of those. So we talked a little bit about physical wellness and environmental in your last response to Man is Still. But when it comes to gratitude and self care, or gratitude in our environmental well being, like promoting our stability and connections, not just within the outdoor environment, but our inter environment too, how we live in our homes and things of that nature. What do you say that how gratitude impacts those two areas?
Well, it's always going to be based on, being appreciative of what you have, but you also got to have peace inside your house. You have to,
Hmm.
because you're going to be out in the world dealing with a bunch of crazy people, trying to make things happen for you and your family. That's the one place you're supposed to have solace. You get
Hmm.
home, you're supposed to have peace. I don't care if you just got a hat and a lamp with a chair. When you open that door and you walk in, that's yours. I
Hmm.
remember my first apartment. I didn't even have furniture for the first 2 weeks. I slept on an air mattress on the floor in the kitchen. I'm like, this is my floor. That would felt better than sleeping in somebody else's house in a bed because it was mine.
Mm-hmm.
So to be appreciative of just having a place to go. Because again, most people don't have nowhere to go. You look what's going on in California and a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
places where so many homeless people. And it's
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate because today's Veterans Day, and most of them, especially in DC, are veterans,
Yeah.
which what makes it really, really sad, considering what you do and what you go through.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, especially in the home, man, it's hard to have a peaceful house when you don't have a peaceful life, but you have to be able to do what's best for you. You got to be able to do it. You got to. You got to have peace inside. If you don't have peace inside, it doesn't matter where you live. You can have a
Mm-hmm.
mansion. You can have two swimming pools, a basketball court, whatever else. You don't have peace with inside yourself, it doesn't matter where you live.
Yeah.
Everywhere you sleep is like a casket because you're dead inside.
Mm.
So you got to be able to come with peace within, but you also got to have a very, very honest conversation with yourself. You can't sugarcoat when you're trying to tell yourself what's going on. You cannot sugarcoat it. You can't say, well, I don't want to say this way to myself because it's going to make me feel. Nope, you got to be raw and uncut. That's the only way you can fix it. Because
Right.
if you water it down, that's telling your subconscious that it's not that big of a deal. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to have a raw, uncut opinion of yourself because if you can't identify the problem and you won't accept the problem or accept that it is a problem, you're not going to work the hard as you can to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be real with yourself. You have to be. If you're real with yourself and you work on improving yourself, it don't matter who you're around and where you go. It don't even matter where you live and where you sleep. You can have a one-bedroom apartment or $800,000 house because you're walking in happiness. You're walking in joy. You light up a room everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
You know your power based on other people's responses. So you got to have
Mm-hmm.
that within you. That way, when you get home, I realized that as a father, even going to see my daughters, my demeanor affects the whole house.
Yes.
My demeanor
Yes.
affects the entire house. So when I go get my daughters or go do something for my daughters and I walk in, if I'm standoffish and I'm like, whole demeanor changes. If I come in there playing with my daughters and start chasing them around the house, everybody's uplifted. That energy is contagious. So you gotta
Mm-hmm.
have that within yourself. But the one person that you should never lie to is you because it's impossible to do. Your brain knows the truth. You can lie all you want to. Your brain knows your fears. It knows what you're really afraid of. It knows whether you're really, down for that person and want the best for them or you're just using them. Your brain
Mm-hmm.
knows. It knows what you really lied about. It knows what you really did in your past. Your brain knows all of that. So you can't lie to yourself because everywhere you go, you're going to be there. And there's nowhere you're
Yeah.
going to go where you ain't going to be. Because you at 100% of everything in your life. Nobody
That's
else.
right. Mm.
So
Yeah.
it's best to heal inside first. So no matter where you are, everything will be fine. Because if you don't, everywhere you go, it's going to feel like you're in a closed casket because you're
Mm-hmm.
already dead inside. You're just taking air through your lungs.
Wow. Air without life is lifeless. Air without life is lifeless. um, you talked about a little on being that raw and uncut person with yourself. As we draw this show to the end, let's talk about Man of Steel, how we can ex- how we can express or how we show gratitude. What does that look like? Why Or how do we do that on an individual basis? Not just by saying thank you, but what else can we do individually to show gratitude?
Most of the time, the way you can show gratitude to a person, most of the time you'll know exactly what they require and what they need. And as long as it's not necessarily something that's like outrageous and out of control, you should voluntarily do those things. See, because when you're going to show gratitude, you have to do it without you being in mind,
Hmm.
because that part has nothing to do with you. So if you're going to do it, then do it. But it got to be
Hmm.
because you want to see them happy. You want to see them smile that day. That's just like saying, if you have a friend, man, my friend works so hard to take care of his kids, take care of her kids, this, that, whatever. You know what? They have been struggling. They're not sleeping. I'm going to bring food over there for the kids today. Hey, don't you don't got to worry about cooking. I'm going to bring pizza. Or I'm going to bring this. I'm going to bring that. This, that, or whatever. I know she be having a rough day. Hey, I went and bought you 2 bottles of wine for you to relax this weekend. You know what I mean? Just take a load off this week. Hey, I went on and cooked today instead of you. This, that, or whatever. Hey, don't worry about it. I'll pick you up and you can ride with me. Just little small gestures mean a lot. You know what I mean? But this is the danger to that. The danger is you can't just be the receiver. See, some
Right.
people they accept gratitude, but they don't give it.
Mm.
See, gratitude for them is a one-way street. It's not a revolving door. They only accept the gratitude, but they have a hard time giving it out. Because again, the gratitude is not about you. If you're showing grace and love to another person, that's only for them that's receiving it. So if they look and say, well, you might say, well, I don't like basketball, but I got tickets to the game because he loves it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, I don't want to go see this goofy play, but my woman loves it. So I'm going to get the tickets and I'm going to sit through the play. That part, it has nothing to do with you, but it's gratifying because when you love that person and you want to see that person win, it makes you feel good when you see that they appreciate what you did for them.
Hmm.
Because gratitude don't have to be asked for. When somebody
Yeah.
really in your corner, that's something that's done voluntarily. They recognize the issue. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But you can't be so down and mellowed out that you don't see that you're not even reciprocating the energy, because then that starts to fade away, because nobody wants to feel like they're actually draining their battery on somebody for them not to recharge them, because that's what returning gratitude is. If I'm gonna drain my battery on you, I should be able to rely on you to recharge me. And a lot of times nobody wants to recharge because all they're looking to do is charge their battery. They'll leave you stranded on the side of the road because they can only think about what makes them feel good and what's in it for them.
Hmm.
They don't look and say, man, that'll go down. I end up cussing. So I just say, you got to be able to recharge each other's battery. You know what I mean? Because the worst thing in the world is a selfish person. So you got to be able to recharge each other's battery. And if you don't, that's a problem. You need to
So
move on.
yeah, some of the things that I heard you say in this is to remove self, because gratitude does not reside in the giver,
Yeah.
um, and also random acts of kindness,
Hmm.
and how um, that uh, I want to say, Minister, is is random acts of kindness. You think that that's a ritual of yours personally?
Yeah, I do that all the time. I do that all the time. Just the mere
Hmm.
fact that you can just go something as small as the quotes. I probably got 45 people on the list. I think 32 of them people I don't even know.
Hmm.
And I never had a phone conversation with them. There's never been no text back and forth except just the quotes. They'll say, I love it. I needed this today. That's it.
Hmm.
It was just some people that was from tag and say, can you add me to the list? And then send their number in my inbox. And I'm like, all right, I add you to the list and I'll start sending you quotes to, because that's all
Hmm.
it's for. That's all it's about. So like one of the, Pudding Pop, one of my bouncers bought her book because she had a book. How we support Lowry. You know what I mean? Like all those
Yeah.
little things, the things that, Shimmer do for so many people. Like all of these things, it feels good to help other people, man. You know how good it feels to see somebody appreciate something you did for them?
Right.
That's an amazing feeling. It's
Yes.
like Christmas morning every time it happens. It
Yes.
could be something as
Uh,
simple as, can I borrow your car's blocking mine in and you fill the gas tank up and wash it? Their face just lights up with gratitude. That's an amazing feeling.
mhm.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people are not appreciative. You can send somebody a dragon on here, and because it's not a lightning and a red dragon, they're like, "Oh, thank you." You
That's
be like,
crazy.
"Yeah, I'm about to
Yeah.
report you, man. Like, I'm about to get you out of here." Like,
You didn't
some
send me an
people,
icy.
they so entitled. You just be like,
Uh-huh.
I could have spread that amongst a whole bunch of people. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? So I
Right.
pride myself on doing what I can for people. I buy people groceries all the time. I used to pull over in random neighborhoods when I seen the ice cream truck and buy all the kids ice cream at the ice cream truck. Because you never know. How many stories have you heard from athletes and actors, actresses that was like, it was this one guy that I met one day and he told me this, or he did this for the kids, or he did that, and it stuck with them. You never know how
Hmm.
you affect somebody's life. So to me, I like to live my life as if I'm going to be a parable. Like I'm either going to be a success story or I'm going to be a tragic story. Or I'm going to be an example of how to live your life. You know, I don't know how it's going to end. We'll wait and see. But I want to be able to have my name remembered, even if it's just from the area that I'm from. They'll be like, that was a stand-up man and he did everything he could. My daughters will understand, you know, type of father I wanted to be so they can be proud. My mother can say, my son is a success. I had him in my 12th grade year, and look how he turned out. I sacrificed everything I wanted to do in my 20s and 30s to make sure he was good. And then this is how he rewarded me for that. So that's how I look at it as it pertains to life, period. So I try to do
Hmm.
all I can to make sure that I'm selfless to people.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna Steele, for coming and hanging out with me. I'll be knocking on your door again real soon, probably before the end of the month.
Of course, I
um,
will tell you if you need me, just let me know. I'll make time and I'll come through with whatever you need. So just let me
uh,
know. I'm really proud of you. I appreciate everything
Thank
that you're
you.
doing. I think this is really needed on tag. And I told you even before it got featured, it's a hole on tag that this can fill. And you'll get more and
Hmm.
more comfortable as you do it. Now you're just flowing with it. You got less anxiety now. All the bugging you did to me,
Definitely.
calling me with you're panicking. Now you're a professional now. So you know what I mean?
Like
Anytime you
there was,
need me, just let me know. I got you. I
I
appreciate all
did.
you
I
guys.
only did one phone call. Only did one phone call this time. I was like, hey,
Oh, this
I
time.
did
Okay. All right, this
this
time. Okay,
time.
good.
This time,
This
I
time.
said, hey, but still, this is where I'm going this month. This is what I need from you. I didn't call. I didn't text because it's work though. It's work. I had to do some getting into myself to understand me. Oh, hey. I always get excited when my brother comes in. He always late, but I get excited when he comes in anyways. Thanks for coming by, DK. That's my real life
Your
brother.
experience is your
Um,
expertise. You're doing an amazing job. I know you want to give your closing remark. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans. I appreciate you even asking me because I don't take that lightly either. There's other guys that, can articulate themselves and have information and have ideas and, can add value to the show. So can't take that for granted either. The fact that you actually asked me to come help you and come do it. And I'm gonna let you do your final thought. I'm gonna jump out the box and I will leave with the quote. One of my favorite quotes is by J. Krishnamurti. One is never afraid of the unknown. One is only afraid of the known coming to an end. It's my favorite quote. I'm gonna jump out the
Mm.
box. Much love, much respect. Stay positive, stay motivated, stick around. Tip the guest, tip the host. I'll be good. I'll be in the comments. All right.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome.
I got a piece of a short story that I'm going to read. And hopefully this makes a little sense. We'll see what happens. It's not anything that I composed myself, but here we go.
Luxray.
Once upon a time in a bustling city of serendipity, there lived a young lady named Ava. Ava had faced her fair share of adversities through her life, but she always believed in the power of self-awareness and gratitude to overcome challenges and find true happiness. Ava had grown up in a household where values like empathy, compassion, and resilience were instilled in her from a young age. Her parents had taught her the importance of self-awareness, encouraging her to explore her own strengths and weaknesses. Despite her difficulties she faced, Ava always maintained a positive outlook, knowing that self-awareness was the first step towards personal growth and well-being. As Ava embarked on her journey of life, she encountered various obstacles and setbacks. She faced financial struggles, experienced heartbreak, and dealt with the loss of loved ones. However, she never lost sight of the values that were ingrained in her heart. In times of adversity, Ava turned to gratitude as her guiding light. She understood that even in the midst of difficult situations, there was always time to be grateful. She found solace in the support of her friends, the beauty of nature, and the simple joys of everyday life. Ava's commitment to self-awareness allowed her to recognize her emotions, her thoughts, and reactions. She acknowledged that while she couldn't control every aspect of her life, she can control the perspective and the response of her challenges. Through self-reflection, mindfulness, Ava developed a deeper understanding of herself and the world around her. Her gratitude extended beyond her experience. Ava actively sought opportunities to help others. One thing that I know about everybody, and everybody knows about me, is that all of us, each and every last one of us, wants to be happy. And it is not happiness that makes us grateful, but gratefulness that makes us happy. Gratefulness does not live in fear. Be strong, be courageous, love yourselves. And as I close, I will leave you with these words, as always. Without words, the speech cannot be heard. Without a voice, there's nothing to be said. Without sound, it's only left to be seen. And without them all, we're just beings without being a thing. Use your voice to be the light of change. Thank you for another episode of Divine Living. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me today.